Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sah Veeryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidveshavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Sasthanobhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so I'll request everyone to put on their videos for a few minutes. So we have a pre-decided topic today, and that is Punarjanma, or the cycle of birth and death, and how the Atma moves from one body into another, right? Oh, and the first question is, what is Atma? And then how it moves, etc., etc. So I want you to pay attention, because then only things will be clear. We are all familiar with the word space, right? We all know what space is. Everybody? Yeah. Now, space is something which is undivided whole, which is infinite, and because it is undivided whole, so there are no boundaries, and nothing can limit space. Okay, so we have one space, and yet we all know we have different terminologies for space. We have something called parking space. In India, we have commercial space, residential space, sports activities, space for sports activities. And of course, every container is a space, right from 1 liter to few milliliters to hundreds of liters, or big tankers, all are space. And of course, we have what we call as space between partners and spouses when they need space. So you see, one undivided whole space, in different contexts, it becomes divided, and it is small, limited, and even the meanings change. Correct? Is it clear to all of you? Okay. Similarly, the word Atma. Atman is the Pratipadika. So Atma word. So Atma is again something which is undivided, which is whole, which is free of everything, and which is the essence of everything. Yet, in different contexts, the word Atma is used differently. Okay, and we limit Atma in different contexts. So when it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita that the Atma leaves one body, enters into another body, takes a new birth, etc. Again, we have a limited meaning of the word Atma. Okay? Just as space, in a limited context, it becomes limited. Similarly, the unlimited Atma, unlimited means Atma without limits, in different contexts, it becomes a limited version. So, the one which moves from one body into another is actually what we call as the Jeevatma. Okay? So, one Atma, which is undivided, whole, unlimited, which encompasses everything. But when we see from a particular perspective, from the perspective of something which is limited to a body, then it becomes a Jivatma. And that Jivatma actually travels. Rajeshji, I have sent 2 screenshots. Can you please share?
Okay?
And the next one.
Okay.
The order was wrong. So there is one more.
Yeah, okay.
So this is a portion of the text Tattva Bodha, and it's a very small text, and but it defines things very nicely. So it says Atma Kaha. What is Atma? Or who is Atma? Then it says Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Dvaya Vyatiriktaha. Sharirad Vyatiriktaha. Panchakoshatitah San Avasthatraya Sakshi Satchidananda Swarupah San Yat Tishtati Yah Tishtati Sa Atma. So, the one which is beyond, which is other than Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Sharira. And we will see these. What are the 3 types of Sharira, the bodies? Panchakoshatitah, which is other than or beyond the Panchakosha, 5 koshas. And the one which is a Sakshi, a witness to Avasthatraya. Avasthatraya is the dream state, the waking state, and the deep sleep state. And which is of the nature of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. That thing is Atma. Okay. So Atma here, what is defined is which has no limits and no adjectives. And then with the limits also, it becomes Atma, but in a limited context. So Atma word actually has the meaning of me. Atma is not a third party, second person, or a third person. It is just me. Now that me, who is this me? It depends how you look at me. Accordingly, that is me. So if this body is me, then the sthula sharira means the gross body. This becomes the Atma. This is me and this is the Atma. Then if for some people, not only this body is me, what drives this body, the Sukshma Sharira, that is also me. So Sthula and Sukshma both consists of Atma. Then there is something called Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira means a causal body. A causal body means the cause of the body. Okay. So that is the seed cause because of which this body came into existence and because of which new bodies will come into existence. Okay. So we will look into this Thula, Sukshma and Karana Sharira. Once a person dies, what happens is the Sthula, the gross body, becomes immobilized, and the Sukshma Sharira and the Karana Sharira, the Sthula Sharira means the gross body remains here and then it is disposed of based on the belief system. Okay, some people like to bury it, some people like to burn it, and some other people do something else with this body. Whereas the Sukshma and Karana Sharira, they and now what is the Sukshma Sharira? Sukshma Sharira is the subtle body, that which makes this gross body alive is the Sukshma Sharira. And this Sukshma Sharira and the Karana Sharira, they are supposed to depart from this Thula Sharira, and then the person is declared dead. Okay. Now we'll look into what is Karana Sharira. Kindly show the other picture, please. Okay. Karana Shariram Kim. What is Karana Sharira? Anirvachya Anadi Avidya Rupam Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram Sat Swarupa Ajnanam Nirvikalpaka Rupam Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. So that which is inexplicable. Inexplicable means which cannot be really properly defined. Okay. And which is beginningless. Okay. Again, because as soon as you have a beginning, there is a problem. Beginning means it has to become abrupt. So something which is beginningless solves this problem. And which is in the form of avidya or ignorance. And Sat Swarupa, which is in the form of avidya, ignorance of one's own root cause or the essence. Then Nirvikalpaka Rupam. Nirvikalpaka Rupam means which is not in a manifested form. And that which exists is the Karana Sharira. Okay. We'll come to these definitions as we explain the things. So when a person dies, the gross body remains here. What departs is the subtle body or the Sukshma Sharira and the causal body, the Karana Sharira. And actually this Karana Sharira is the seat of I. Which I? The ignorant I. And the I who is the doer and the recipient of karma. And sometimes we, for a lack of a better word, we use the word enjoyer. So the I, which is the doer and the enjoyer not in the sense of only pleasant enjoyment, unpleasant also is included. So doer, enjoyer, that I, along with the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, it departs. And based on the karma of this life and some of the pending karmas of previous lives, whatever fructifies, based on that, the Karana Sharira chooses another body. And another body, remember one thing, another body doesn't mean it will be a human body. It could be an animal body, it could be a plant body, or it could be even a subtle body, what we call as Pitriloka and other lokas. So, unless the person, uh, mm, the fructification of that karma is possible in a particular space and time, that this Karana Sharira cannot take another body. I'll give you an example. If my karma is such that in some creation I damaged or broke somebody's mobile phone. Okay. Now I have to go through the same experience. That person has to break my mobile phone. But in between, the creation changed, the Srishti changed, and mobile phones vanished. Okay. So I cannot take a body in this globe, in this world, till the mobile phones are available, and I can undergo the same kind of experience what I have caused on somebody else or inflicted on somebody else. You got my point? So the karma waits for a right situation in a particular world. It could be this world, it could be any other world. It all depends. And again, the combination of that person whose mobile phone I broke, that person also has to take birth to inflict the pain upon me, and I also have to. So it's a combination of so many factors which decides when I again take a human birth or a birth of some other body. Okay, so there are innumerable combinations that decides when, which form, how, and in which place of this universe I take birth. Now, as I explained last time, the closest example, even though when you say example, there will always be some flaws. So if you ignore the flaws, the closest example for Karana Sharira is the SIM card. Okay, and I'm sure in except for eSIM, has it started? Has it become very prevalent in your country? No, you still use SIM cards, right? Yeah. Okay. So SIM card is that Karana Sharira. It stores all my karma of my previous phone. When I change the phone, the SIM remains same, the SIM card remains same. It stores all the information and all the records which are necessary for my account to continue, and I transfer the SIM, and the new phone starts working like somewhat like the previous phone, and things continue. So this Karana Sharira stores all the karma information and uh, brings forth a new body through which the karmic cycle continues. And this is how one changes one body is gone, another body one gets, etc., etc., etc. It continues as long as this Karana Sharira continues. And the Karana Sharira will evaporate. I won't say destroyed, gets destroyed. It evaporates only in wake of knowledge. And knowledge of what? Knowledge of the real self, who I am really. What is this me, the Atma? Right now, the Atma is this body or something inside the body, that is Atma. When that understanding takes place, that no, it is free from all this body and this, what is inside the body, it is everywhere, it is in everything. And that time, this Karana Sharira dissolves and no more birth and death. Somebody had asked this question. Uh, so, very briefly, I will touch it because it is out of context slightly. And the question was, if karma is mithya and this birth and death is mithya and everything is mithya, then where is the question of doing karma and what is the importance of karma? Now, I'm addressing to those people. Listen, my dear, Satyam Mithya are the reality map of individuals. Life and karma and all other details are as real as my food, my desire for food, my desire for clothing, my desire for all other things. It cannot be that uh, the body is true for me, the food is true, the enjoyments are true, but all my karma and other things are mithya. That doesn't work. They are all at the same plane. Howsoever the enjoyership is true to me or real to me, that much the doership is also true or real to me. They go hand in hand. Half baked. So karma becomes very important. Good karma helps me to gain that frame of mind wherein I can understand what is my real nature. And if that good karma is not there, I can keep theorizing for life, and not just life, lives, and become a hypocrite. Uh, because when it comes on my skin, then it becomes real. Otherwise, everything is mithya, mithya, mithya. It becomes, you keep chanting, parroting like a parrot, mithya, but really speaking, it doesn't work. So it goes hand in hand. The understanding what is real to me, what is not real to me. It's a slow process, and it requires a different frame of mind. And for that, lot of good karma, good deeds one has to do. And in the spirit of the karma yoga, which we had discussed some time back in the last uh, uh, sessions before these new series of talks begin. So there, in the spirit of yoga, in the spirit of karma yoga, when we perform actions and the the antakarana gets purified and it starts understanding things, then only we can talk of freedom from karma, etc. Till such time, karma is very, very important. Okay, and even after that also, karma is not useless. It continues. Okay. So then another point. There is a shloka, the 14th, 18th shloka in the 14th chapter. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasthaha madhye tisht, in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm talking of the Bhagavad Gita. Madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaghanya guna vrittisthaha adho gachanti tamasaha. Basically, what it says is, those with the sattvic qualities, they evolve. Those with rajasi tendencies, they remain stagnant. And those with tamasi tendencies, they go down. Okay, they devolve, not evolve, devolve. And this is where some of the popular, I will say, philosophies within Hinduism, that everybody is evolving and gradually one is evolving into the super consciousness and the supra consciousness. They have made some terms which has no basis and keep explaining, and then somehow they have to align themselves with the evolution theory imposed upon by some people in the West, and then frame it in such a way and create your own new theory. The scriptures say there is no guarantee that everybody evolves. Some evolve, some remain stagnant, and some go down. Everything is possible. Okay? It's not automatically everybody evolves. No, not true. No matter which great person or good person has said this, the base, the scriptures do not support it. And remember, in the very first session of this series, we had talked, it is not the person who are important. It is the tradition which is important, because persons can make mistakes. It's a human nature, human body. Whereas tradition means it's a body of knowledge which has been continuing through centuries. And you cannot bypass that and then just hold on to the view of one particular person. What is the guarantee? This is what I have undergone for many years. As I told you, I visited many ashrams, different theories, and I was thoroughly confused what to do, what not to do. Why? Because one person will be saying something, next person will be saying just the opposite thing. How will I know which is true and which is not true? And if I believe in one person for temporarily also, it needs at least 3 to 5 years before I come to a conclusion whether this person is saying the right thing or not. And if I meet 10 such people, my life is gone, just experimenting. So never believe an individual. Believe the tradition behind it, the scriptures, which are time tested. Individuals can create their own theories. You can say you are wrong, and I can say you are wrong. Then who will be the judge? There was one person who told me, oh, do you know so and so Mahatma? He has been recognized by the UN as the self-realized person. Tell me who in the UN is authorized to measure the test of self-realization? What a silly thing. Is there an exam for self-realization? That when you clear that exam, then you are fit for you are declared self-realized. Whether I am idiot or realized, only I can know. Nobody else can measure it. Okay? So all that kind of stuff keeps moving around. We don't go by that. The scriptures say that there is no guarantee whether a person or a jiva, not just a person, it could be any living being. It can evolve, it can remain stagnant, or it can go down. All the combinations are possible. Only assured evolvement is when one resorts to karma yoga. Karma yoga means what? With the spirit, when I perform karma without artha and kama in mind. Okay, artha means for security, kama means fulfillment of desires. So when I perform karma free from fear and greed, for no reason other than just because it's a good karma, and I offer it to the Lord, once I start doing it even little bit, swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, even a little bit I start trying, my path of evolution gets reserved. It becomes certain. But till then, as long as I am within the realm of artha and kama, just fulfilling my desires and creating security for my fears, and I'm living in that loop, there's no guarantee that I will evolve. It depends. I may evolve, I may remain stagnant, or I may go down. So this is about the Jeevatma, which moves from one body to another. Okay, and the body depends. It could be human body, it could be animal body, it could be plant body, or it could be some other subtle bodies. So I hope I took this topic based on the request of few people. Could you please come up on the, put on the video and tell me if there are any questions or any doubts or anything which I missed out? Could I present myself clearly? Could you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
I
Guruji.
would ask that question.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about the cycle of birth and death. It continues. And I hope I answered partly your question also. The importance of karma in terms of when a person is has the knowledge or understands what is satyam or mithya.
Yes. Thank you.
To understand satyam and mithya, karma becomes important. Okay. See, listen. Here I would like to point it out. When there are enough number of people who don't see this life and death as problem, correct? Those who do not see as a problem, you cannot offer solution. Solution is only for those who see as a problem. So those who don't see it as a problem, they are already mukta. Mukta means they are already free. So they don't feel the problem, so they are already free. You don't have to offer solution to them. Solution becomes necessary only for those who start seeing it as a problem. Then there is a solution. Yes, you understand yourself as free from one who is free from doership and enjoyership. Then you become free from all the karmas. And to reach that state, one has to perform a lot of karma. Good karma, I mean.
So even if karma, whether it's good karma or bad karma, it's not my Atma, right?
It is me Atma. Atma is me. It is never mine. This is the big misconception. The word Atma means me. Wherever I have the sense of me, that is Atma. And if the me sense extends to outside of this body, it could be even my kids, my kith and kin, my pet, their Atma Bhava is there. So the definition of Atma extends up to that. And for a wise person who sees Atma everywhere, the whole thing becomes me. So it is never my Atma.
So I understand the goal is to be a mukta and be free and not to have punarjanma. If I understand right, that's the goal.
I never said that. Did I say?
No, from my understanding, not that you said that.
Yeah, this is the textbook. I mean, many textbooks say so. If you feel that there is a problem in the cycle of birth and death, then yes, there is a goal of coming out of this cycle of birth and death. If you are happy being born again and be dying again, so there is no problem.
Okay.
So all this fantasizing and romanticizing the idea of this is the ultimate goal of life and all. Come on, who told you? It depends. For somebody else, something else may be the ultimate goal of that person's life, isn't it?
Okay, thank you.
Why a section of people, just a small percentage of people, impose upon the entire population their goal of life? Generally, some 8% of the population will have the spiritual, the so-called spiritual tendencies. I hate this word of the distinction between religious and spiritual. This is another bunkum, because Hinduism is both spiritual and religious. There is no distinction. So, okay, for the time being, I borrow that wrong word. I borrow that wrong word and I use it. The so-called spiritual people who cannot comprise more than 8% of world population. There is a reason why I said 8%. Okay. Why those 8% decides that the ultimate goal of the whole humanity, including the remaining 92%, is self-realization? Who are you to decide about that?
So what should one aspire to? What should be the goal?
What problem are you facing? Based on that, that should be your goal. If you are under debt, borrowed a lot of money, swiped your credit cards a lot, then your goal should be to earn money and come out of that debt. What is your problem decides what is your goal.
Okay.
And only you will know what is your problem.
Right.
Yes, others can help you to pinpoint the problem. But if you feel, no, I don't have any such problem, still I feel uncomfortable from within. I have almost everything what I need, but I don't know. There are no visible reasons, and yet I am a dissatisfied person, or I want something more. Yes, then we can suggest few newer goals. Otherwise, don't. This is like a patronizing attitude. I tell you what is your ultimate goal of life. But who are you to tell me? And even if you tell, I won't accept. I will laugh at it. Correct?
Yep, understand. Thank you.
That doesn't mean I'm a person who talks and thinks differently, okay? But I have gone through all this thought processes. And I feel it's not proper to tell what is your ultimate goal.
Sobaji?
Yeah.
Sobaji, you want to say something? You
Yes,
raised your
I
hand.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. If we all are not evolved, then I guess in my mind it is like when the end comes, when the pralaya takes place, or when everything goes back, then why do I have to work towards anything at all if evolution is not really important? Why do I have to struggle to go through all this?
Listen. I didn't say evolution is not important or it is important. Okay, I never said that.
Right.
I said evolution is not by default, as some people claim.
Okay.
Okay, that is first thing. Second thing is, the so-called evolution is really not important to many people. Do you know that?
Okay.
And I can tell you 90% of the population, for them, this evolution doesn't matter. What matters is money, enjoyment, booze, drinks, party, or it could be any other thing.
But if, I guess that's where I am trying to understand is, if I am trying to evolve
Why?
so that I attain moksha
Why?
or self-realization,
Why?
Because I guess I'm not too happy with what I have, maybe. Maybe there's
or
something
maybe you are
with
not
me.
exposed to many things. Better get exposure, and then you decide. You might have chosen something wrong, which you may regret later. That is why there is a famous line in the scriptures, in the Mundaka Upanishad. Pariksha lokan karmachitan. Having done pariksha, you know, examining the lokas, not only this loka and different things, this loka means this world, okay? Loka means this world. So the one who has examined this world thoroughly, what it can offer to me and what it cannot, and even the lokas which are described by wise people and the scriptures, what they can offer and what they cannot offer. Having done that examination and having thought about it thoroughly, then a person comes for the Upanishads. Not by somebody's just praising it, oh, Upanishads are great. Do you know that? Oh, is it? Okay, I'm joining the course. Not by that. It's not going to work. Having examined oneself, why do I need it? What it can offer, which other things cannot offer. That is Viveka. And that once I examine it thoroughly and I am convinced about it, then comes Vairagya automatically. Just by hearsay, if I follow something, Vairagya is not going to come. So better examine.
Okay. I have one more question, which I'm trying to, okay, I'll just come to that. Exactly what is Jeevatma? From what I understand, it is a reflection on material. So material plus the reflected consciousness is Jeevatma.
Wait. You are right and you are wrong.
Okay.
How can it be both? You are right because generally this is how it is described.
Okay.
And you are wrong because you are creating structures to define something structureless. And that's a trap.
How so?
Then do you know what happens? Then suddenly there is an Atma. Atma becomes some kind of a light, sun, moon or something in my head, even though I don't utter that word, but it remains that way. And then the body becomes like a mirror or a reflecting surface or an aluminum foil or something. Okay, even though I'm not using those words, inside my head, I create different structures on which the Atma depends. And that's a sin, papa. Because Atma is something which is structureless. So that is why the example of space is much better.
But doesn't the scriptures talk about Chidabhasa?
The scriptures which talk about Chidabhasa are mostly man-made scriptures. They are not Shrutis. Okay. And for up to one level, maybe it is required, I don't know. For a very naive person, a person who is totally new to things, maybe it is required, I don't know. But even to a very new person, I never try to explain it in that way. Chid Abhasa is just Chid Abhasa. It's an Abhasa of Chid. Abhasa means an assumption, appears to be, apparently it's Chid. That's all. I don't create this reflection business, because reflection business means I'm creating structures. And one of the teachers warned me that if you can understand without these structures, it will be better. But if you can't, then for some time you can go along with the structures and then later try to understand without structures.
I think that's where my problem is, how to get out of the structure.
Yeah, because these structures will never lead you to the structureless Atma. Never. It will be just another object in this world, whereas it is the very essence of all the objects.
How do you, if the veiling is there, I guess that's where my confusion is. I guess you're right. It is a structured, limited way that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not at this point in my, I guess, exploration, understanding. I guess that is where I am at. And I'm trying to relate how the structure and the non-structures are working.
Yeah. So that is where. See, if you start measuring the infinite with a finite measuring tape, the very process of measurement keeps you away from the infinite, right? Because multiple finites don't make infinite.
Okay.
Similarly, with structures, if you start understanding the structure less, the very process keeps you away from the structureless. And that is where the brilliant work by our scriptures are done, the Shrutis. When I say scriptures, it's the direct texts, the Upanishads. They make some structure, and in the very next section, they just demolish the structure.
Right.
That
I
is
think
the
that's where
beauty
the
they do.
confusion is.
So what remains is what they want to deliver.
So how do I relate to this then? Because right now in my mind,
So Jeevatma is seeing that infinite Atma in a limited way, located in one place, even though it is the locale of everything else. Everything else is within the Atma, okay? But it appears the other way, that Atma is within a limited body. Okay.
I think that's where my confusion is. I'm not able to get a, it's not understanding. Understanding is not what I'm looking for. It's more an assimilation of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where I'm
Exactly.
having, I'm trying to, it keeps going in my head. How do I relate these two things? As I said, the reflection, and because that's where the confusion began for me is, if I'm a reflection, then how does it relate to the Atma? Because I'm still separate.
Yeah, true. You are a reflection if you are identified with this body, a kind of reflection. And I don't like the word reflection. You are a limited Atma.
Could you please have a topic on this?
Oh, that has to be a separate topic. Otherwise, this class will close and people will run
Okay.
away. Yeah, we can
Okay.
have it. Yeah, we can have it separately. We can time it. Don't worry.
Okay, because as I said, this has been, I'm not able to assimilate.
I will request you to write down your questions. First, put
Okay.
it in words. So then you
Okay.
become concise what exactly you want. Okay. And then
Okay.
I can, as an answer to those questions, we can have one-to-one session if required.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. It's just that to put it into words is sometimes I find it's very difficult because.
I know, but it is important. That difficulty one has to
Okay.
go through. Then only one will grasp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Acharya-ji.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Okay. So I'll sum it up. So Jeevatma, and a few things I wanted to add. Jeevatma in a human body has a location, and the location is the heart. Okay, don't accuse me. I've already told what is Atma. Just as space. But just as space has limits, we can have 5 liter space in a 5 liter container. Okay. Similarly, there is a Jeevatma located in the region of heart, and that carries all the information of the karma of this jiva. And do you know one more thing? Listen very carefully, please. This is important, which I am delivering. This is just an input-output device. It's a monitor. The real CPU is here. Believe me. CPU, understand? In a computer, there are monitors. The main server or the main computer could be somewhere else in a central location. So the real thoughts or the desires or something inexplicable, it arises here. This one just displays it colorfully. So it has its own importance. Monitor also has its own importance. Nobody denies it. Okay. Similarly, these are all mouse and keypads, the input devices, eyes, ears, all those 5 senses through which information goes in. So these are input devices, and this is the output device. This is one of the output devices, the monitor, and hands and legs also. But the real CPU is here. And in the previous set of sessions I have mentioned, do you know another thing? It's a very startling thing. We come to know about our decisions on an average 7 seconds after the decision has been already made. And who makes the decision? This one. Who knows the decision? This one. This itself is so startling. Okay. So the seat of me is this, I. This is the real I. The rest all are just namesake I. Okay, with this I stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.
Thank you.